My wife was dying. That's what the phone call said. I sprinted through the sliding doors of Emory Midtown Hospital so fast the security guard nearly yelled after me. Atlanta traffic didn't matter. I drove like the whole city was on fire. All I could hear was the voicemail that had nearly stopped my heart. Your wife collapsed at work. She's in critical condition. Please come immediately. My legs carried me faster than my thoughts. I slammed my hands onto the reception desk. My wife, Camille Turner. Someone called. They said but before the receptionist could speak, a hand grabbed my wrist. A firm, urgent grip. I turned. A janitor in green scrubs, older black man, maybe late 50s, stood inches from me. His eyes were wide, darting between me and the hallway like he expected something to jump out. Then he said the sentence that froze me more than any doctor could. Sir, hide. Right now. It's a trap. A trap? What? What are you? He squeezed my wrist harder. His voice dropped to a whisper. Don't go to the front desk. Don't let them see you. Come with me. Before I could resist, he yanked me behind a tall linen cart. We slipped through a back corridor door that clicked shut softly behind us. My heart was beating so loud I thought it would echo down the hallway. Man, what the hell are you talking about? I hissed. He pressed a trembling finger to his lips. Stay quiet if you want to live. We stood in the dim supply hallway. I tried to calm my breathing, but adrenaline surged so violently I felt nauseous. Listen, the janitor whispered. I overheard something. They aren't prepping a room for your wife. They're prepping one for you. My skin crawled. My wife is sick, I argued, though doubt cracked through my voice. She collapsed. The janitor didn't even blink. She walked in here on her own 2 feet, healthy, laughing, perfectly fine. Trust me. She ain't the one who needs surgery tonight. I stood completely still. And then, like fate wanted to confirm his words, I heard a familiar voice echo through the nearby hallway. Calm, steady, not sick, not weak. My wife, Camille, talking, laughing softly with someone. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I would vomit. The janitor looked at me with grim certainty. Sir, whatever you think is happening, it ain't that. And for the first time since the phone call, a terrifying possibility entered my mind. What if my wife wasn't the victim? What if I was? If you're still here with me, tell me where you're listening from. I'd love to know how far this story has traveled. Now, back to the story. I pressed my back against the cool metal cabinet, trying to steady my breathing, but nothing made sense. Camille wasn't supposed to be walking around, wasn't supposed to be laughing. She was supposed to be lying in a hospital bed, fighting for her life. That's what the call said. That's what I believed when I ran red lights all the way down Piedmont Avenue, praying she'd survive long enough for me to say goodbye. Anybody who knows Atlanta knows Piedmont isn't a street you speed on, unless someone you love is dying. But hearing her voice, strong, steady, almost cheerful, sent a crack straight through my chest. The janitor kept watch through the thin slit in the supply room door. Only the top of his face was visible, but even from behind, I could feel his tension. I know you're confused, he whispered. I know you think I'm crazy, but I've been working here for 15 years, seen every kind of emergency come through Atlanta. I know when something ain't right. Your wife, that woman acted wrong the second she walked in. I swallowed hard, my throat dry like sandpaper. Who are you? I finally asked. He turned slightly toward me. Marcus, custodial staff. He must have seen the fear on my face because his expression softened. Son, I ain't trying to scare you for fun. I'm trying to keep you alive. Alive. That word didn't used to apply to a simple hospital visit. But now it sat heavily on my shoulders. Before all this, before the lie, I thought Camille loved me. We'd only been married 6 months. 6 months of her warm smile, her soft hands, her laugh that could make any bad day fade into nothing. She was a white woman from Marietta, raised in a wealthy, quiet family. I was a black man from Decatur, the kind of background her parents would squash into silence at dinner parties. But she never acted like it bothered her. I met her at a tech networking event in Midtown. She spilled her drink on my shoes, laughed nervously, and apologized 10 times. I joked that she must have done it on purpose to get my attention. She blushed and admitted maybe she was clumsy around handsome men. I've been hooked. We dated fast. Fell in love faster. She told me she admired how patient I was, how hardworking, how dependable. You're the safest person I've ever met, she told me once, tracing her fingers along my jaw. I want a life with you. I believed her. We married quietly. Small ceremony, a few friends, her parents absent by travel conflict. Though deep down I knew the real reason. Camille always said love was stronger than old prejudices. I wanted to believe that so badly. We built a life together in our small home near Decatur Square. She decorated it with soft colors and plants. I filled it with my vinyl records and cooking gadgets. We blended our routines with easy smiles and gentle compromises. She insisted we add each other to all medical paperwork, emergency contacts, decision-makers, next of kin. For safety, she'd said. You never know what life throws at you. Sounded like love. And now I was standing in a hospital corridor realizing she wasn't sick at all. Marcus reached for my arm again. Son, look at me. She didn't come in here looking like someone who fainted. She came in laughing. Healthy. No limp. No dizziness. He hesitated. She came in with a doctor, like they were old friends. My chest tightened. A doctor? Which one? Tall white guy, Marcus said. Mid-40s. Blonde hair. Expensive watch. The kind of man who walks like the whole hospital belongs to him. Camille had mentioned a doctor friend once. Dr. Huxley. A name that sounded polished, gentle, trustworthy. I never questioned why she knew him. Marcus continued. They walked in together. She told the nurse at the desk that her husband, was on the way and that staff should prep an emergency room for immediate surgery. But she didn't look sick. Not one bit. The words landed like punches. Emergency room. Immediate surgery. For me? But why would she? My voice died before the question finished. Marcus exhaled slowly, like someone carrying an unbearable secret. I don't know the whole plan, he said. But I know the doctor asked for your chart. Yours, not hers. And I heard them say something about compatibility and signing forms before he panics. My blood went cold. Forms. Compatibility. Something ugly and terrifying began to take shape. From the hallway, footsteps approached, soft, then louder. And then Camille's voice floated closer. Too close. Did my husband arrive yet? He should be here any minute. She sounded calm, almost excited. Marcus looked at me and whispered, barely audible. That woman ain't here to be saved. She's here to take something. And for the first time since the day I met her, I felt something stronger than love. I felt fear. If you love stories of betrayal, hidden truths, and justice that strikes when no one expects it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. New stories drop every day, each one darker, sharper, and more unforgettable than the last. Now, back to the story. Marcus motioned for me to stay low as he cracked the supply room door open just an inch. From there, I could see the edge of the nurse's station. Bright lights, polished floors, the familiar beeping of monitors. A place meant for healing. A place I had always trusted. But nothing about tonight felt healing. Nothing felt safe. Camille's voice drifted closer, smooth and casual, as if she were chatting at brunch instead of in a hospital hallway. Dr. Huxley, it has to happen tonight. He's already on his way. Her words were light, almost cheerful. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. I pressed closer to the crack in the door. Dr. Huxley's voice followed, deep, confident, the kind of voice that made you believe whatever he said. I told the surgical staff you'd brought your husband in for an emergency evaluation, he said. They'll accept the consent forms without question, as long as you sign them before he sees anything. My breath nearly stopped. Consent forms? For who? Don't worry, Camille replied in a whisper. He always signs whatever I put in front of him. He trusts me. A short laugh escaped her lips. A little too much. Marcus closed his eyes like he was bracing for the worst. But there was more. Is your boyfriend prepped? Huxley asked. Boyfriend? The word felt like a blade pressed to my ribs. Camille's tone softened, affectionate in a way I had never heard directed at me. He's ready. He's been waiting years for this. I promised him I'd fix his kidney problem. And now, she gave a soft, smug sigh. Now everything is finally falling into place. Everything inside me went still. My wife of 6 months, talking about another man with tenderness, familiarity, and strategy? Huxley continued. We'll take the first kidney and transfer it to him immediately. The second one will be stored for sale to the buyer. He said it casually, like selling a phone, like selling a pair of shoes. Camille responded, perfect. No loose ends. No evidence. He'll die on the table, and no one will suspect foul play. A black man donating a kidney? If something goes wrong, they'll call it a tragic complication. My throat constricted. The casual racism hit just as hard as the betrayal. It wasn't ignorance. It wasn't thoughtlessness. It was a plan. A plan built around my race. My body. My disposability. My chest tightened so hard I had to grip the wall to stay standing. Marcus placed a steadying hand on my shoulder, but even he looked shaken. You see now, he whispered, this ain't about love. It never was. But the nightmare wasn't finished. Camille stepped closer to the desk, her voice clearer now. I told him I needed a kidney, she said. I even faked passing out twice so he'd worry. You should have seen his face. He was ready to give me anything. You married him for this? Huxley asked, though his tone made it clear he already knew the answer. Camille chuckled. Of course, my boyfriend's kidneys are shot. And honestly, her voice dropped to a sickening murmur. Marrying a black man made it easier. Nobody questions a tragedy when it fits a stereotype. But don't worry, I'll cry for the cameras. Huxley laughed. I felt something deep in my chest tear. Everything. Our wedding, her tears, her late-night cuddles, her promise that love doesn't see color. All of it had been a lie, a script, a setup. Huxley added, just be sure he signs the donor consent. Even if he survives the first cut, that form makes everything legal. Oh, he'll sign, she said. I'll tell him it's for me. He'll do anything if I pretend to be in pain. My stomach twisted. Anything. Yes, I would have. And she knew it. Then Camille said the sentence that ended whatever life we had. Once it's over, once my boyfriend gets the kidney he needs, we'll use the money from selling the second one to start fresh in California. Just you, me, and him. You, me, and him. My knees buckled. Marcus caught my arm before I hit the floor. You okay? He whispered. But I couldn't answer. I wasn't okay. Nothing about this was okay. And still, it got worse. Camille leaned closer to Huxley, voice dropping to a whisper I could barely catch. Remember 2 kidneys. He won't make it. That's the point. Dr. Huxley nodded. Yes, a single donor kidney leaves a man alive. 2 leaves him an organ source with no witness. Organ source. They were talking about me like I wasn't even human. Like I was a bag of parts they could break open and split profit from. Marcus gritted his teeth. I knew it. I knew something was off. Huxley's been dirty before. My breath came out in harsh, uneven gasps. Why me? Why would she? Marcus leaned in close. You're O-positive, aren't you? I nodded slowly. He exhaled with grim certainty. That's why. The realization settled into my bones like poison. I wasn't her husband. I was her match, her access, her sacrifice. Finally, Camille's footsteps faded down the hallway as she moved toward the waiting area, no doubt expecting me to walk right into her arms like a fool. Marcus closed the supply room door fully now, locking us inside. He turned to me with the saddest, heaviest expression I'd ever seen on another human being. Listen to me, he said quietly. What you heard, that wasn't an accident. That was the truth. My hands shook uncontrollably. My wife, she didn't love me. She didn't even hate me. She planned to carve me open and walk away with my organs. Marcus took a deep breath. "You need to decide something right now," he whispered. "What's that?" I rasped. "Whether you want to survive this, or whether you want them to write your obituary tonight." For a long moment, I couldn't breathe. My chest felt too tight, my thoughts too loud. I kept seeing Camille's smile, her wedding day smile, her "I love you" smile, and hearing it twisted into that cold laugh she shared with Dr. Huxley. Everything inside me felt shattered, scattered, impossible to piece back together. Marcus placed a steadying hand on my shoulder. "Hey, stay with me, son. You got a chance because you heard it before it happened. But now you gotta think. You gotta move smart." His voice, calm, grounded, kept me from collapsing completely. "I need answers," I whispered. "I need to know exactly what they've done." Marcus nodded once. "Then follow me." Quiet. We slipped deeper into the back corridors, hallways I never knew existed. Behind every sterile wall, hospitals had hidden spaces. Supply tunnels, staff stairwells, unmonitored hallways. Marcus knew every square inch. He led me to a small alcove behind radiology where a computer workstation sat unattended. "This one logs in with just a badge swipe," he murmured. "And Huxley left his badge at the front station earlier. I saw him do it. Too cocky for his own good." Marcus pulled a lanyard out of his pocket. Sleek, blue, with Dr. Huxley printed on it. My eyes widened. "You? How did you?" "Dropped it when he was arguing with another doctor. I picked it up before anyone noticed," Marcus said simply. "Didn't know I'd need it for something like this." He tapped the badge against the reader. The screen unlocked immediately. That's when everything broke open. My medical file was on the screen. But not the real one. This one had been altered, edited, warped into a death sentence. New notes were added within the last hour. Patient experiencing kidney failure. Patient expresses desire to donate if needed. Spouse is unstable. Urgent transfer required. The words swam before my eyes. I didn't say any of this. "I'm healthy. This is insane." Marcus scrolled further. There were forged e-signatures. My signature. Sloppy copies of my handwriting pasted onto consent forms. Kidney donor consent forms. Organ transfer authorization forms. Do not resuscitate forms. I never signed these. My voice cracked. "I never." Marcus clenched his jaw. "They forged everything. They wanted you unconscious and on a table before you could say a word." He clicked on another tab. A surgical schedule. My name was listed. Operating room 6. 22:45. Status. Pre-op. My legs nearly gave out. "They already planned the exact time," I whispered. Marcus nodded grimly. "They weren't improvising. This was in motion before you got the phone call." Then I heard the voice that turned my blood to ice. Her voice. Camille. Sweet, soft, affectionate. Only now I knew what lived beneath it. But she wasn't alone. She was on a call. And she wasn't whispering. "Baby, listen," she said to someone. "Tonight it's done. He thinks I'm in the ER. He'll come rushing in like the hero he always tries to be." A man chuckled on the other end. Her boyfriend, the one she planned to save. She continued, "Dr. Huxley said the first kidney is a match. You'll be on your feet in no time. And once the second one sells, we'll have enough for the house in San Diego." A pause. Then a tender softness I had never heard directed toward me. "I love you more than anything. This is our future. I just need my husband to play his part one last time." Marcus quietly ended the audio feed. I didn't even realize he had pulled it from the hospital's internal call logs. "I told you," he murmured. "You needed to hear it yourself." I felt something inside me change then. A shift. Not the numb shock from earlier. Not the heartbreak. Something sharper, clearer, steady. Resolve. "I'm not dying tonight," I said. "Good," Marcus replied. "But you can't just run out the door. They'd call security, claim you were confused or violent. Huxley could override everything with one phone call. Then what do I do?" Marcus looked at me with a steady, fierce seriousness. We collect evidence. Enough to bury them. He opened a folder already on the screen. Security camera feeds. Camille and Huxley were on one feed, smiling, flirting, speaking casually about our plan, like they weren't planning a murder. In another feed, nurses prepped an operating room. My operating room. Marcus recorded every second on his phone. Now, he said, you need backup. Someone who won't freeze. Someone who knows how to handle crimes like this. There was only one person I trusted implicitly. My older brother, Terrence, retired APD detective. My hands shook as I dialed. And just when I thought things couldn't get worse, the hospital's PA system called my name. He picked up on the second ring. Yo, little bro. You good? Why you calling from a hospital? My voice cracked. Terrence, I need you here. Now, don't ask questions. Just come. And bring whoever you can trust. He heard the tremor. His tone changed instantly. I'm on my way. Marcus locked the screen and handed me the badge. Stick with me, he whispered. And whatever happens, don't let her see you until you're ready. A new feeling pulsed through me then. Not fear. A decision. If Camille and Dr. Huxley wanted to play God in this hospital tonight, I was done being their sacrifice. I was going to expose them, and when I finally stepped into the light again, they were going to face every consequence they thought they'd outrun. My brother Terrence arrived at Emory Midtown Hospital like a storm. Atlanta night sky behind him, flashing with police lights. Quiet on the outside, explosive underneath. I recognized his silhouette instantly through the narrow window of the back corridor door. Broad shoulders, shaved head, that unmistakable ex-cop stillness. Behind him were two men in plain clothes. APD detectives he trusted. Marcus exhaled with relief when he saw them. Terrence didn't waste breath on questions. He pulled me into a rough, grounding hug first. You're alive, he muttered. Then he cupped the back of my neck and whispered, we're going to end this. Right now. I pulled him aside for a fast, breathless rundown. Camille's plan, the forged consent forms, the recordings, everything Marcus and I uncovered. Terrence's face went stone cold as he listened, and by the time I finished, the detectives already had their gloves on. We moved. Terrence and his detectives followed Marcus through the same hidden corridors we'd used earlier. Marcus explained every passage like he'd memorized the hospital's veins and arteries. The detectives listened closely, nodding as he mapped out the fastest path to or prep. But Terrence was studying me. You good to walk into this? He asked quietly. I nodded, jaw set. I'm done hiding. A small, grim smile tugged at his mouth. That's what I needed to hear. We reached the hallway behind operating room 6. On the other side of the glass panel, surgical staff were prepping instruments. Stainless steel trays glinted under bright lights. Machines beeped softly, the rhythm calm and chilling. And on the counter beside the anesthesiologist, my forged consent forms were neatly stacked. My name, my stolen signature, my death warrant. Terrence saw me staring and squeezed my shoulder. We'll handle the paperwork. You handle the truth. Marcus peeked around the corner. They're coming. Footsteps. Voices. Clear as day. Camille and Dr. Huxley. I leaned forward, hearing every word. He should be here any minute, Camille said brightly. Not anxious. Not scared. Confident. Confident her husband was walking into a slaughterhouse. Huxley adjusted his mask, smirking beneath it. Everything's ready. Once he signs, we sedate him right away. Quick and clean. And after? She asked, voice dropping into something softer. Something almost romantic. Huxley shrugged. Your boyfriend gets a new kidney before midnight, and the buyer wires the money for the second organ by morning. They stopped outside their doors. Camille fixed her hair in the reflection of the glass, as if preparing for a photo shoot. Then she said the line that finally lit something volcanic inside me. He always wanted to be my hero. It's poetic in a way, that he dies trying to save me. Huxley chuckled. And that was it. No more hiding. No more listening. No more waiting for justice to happen. I stepped into the hallway. into their view. Alive. Camille froze mid-sentence. She spun around so fast her blonde hair whipped over her shoulder. Her blue eyes widened, then narrowed, not with fear, but with calculation. Like she was already trying to rewrite the scene in her head. "Babe?" she said in a trembling voice she manufactured from thin air. What are you doing back here? You shouldn't be here. You should be in the waiting area." I was just. She took a step toward me. I didn't move. Dr. Huxley stiffened, glancing around, searching for an escape route. Terrence and his detectives stepped out behind me, blocking everyone. Camille's breath hitched. "Who are these men?" she asked, voice pitched high, fake fear dripping from every syllable. "Why are they here? What's going on?" I didn't answer her. Instead, I pulled out Marcus's phone and pressed play. The recording filled the hallway. Her voice, her giggles, her plan. 2 kidneys. He won't make it. That's the point. Huxley lunged forward. "Turn that off." Terrence moved faster, pinning him against the wall in a second. "Try me," he growled. Camille staggered backward, eyes shaking violently. "That audio, it's not, you edited that." "That's the hospital system's internal call log," Marcus said coldly. "Nice try." The detectives produced handcuffs. Huxley panicked first. "This is all a misunderstanding." I was told the patient agreed. "His chart says." "You altered the chart." I snapped, stepping closer. "You forged my consent. You were going to murder me on that table." Camille's composure snapped. She screamed, "I did it for love." Every staff member within 3 hallways turned. Her face twisted with desperation. "You don't understand. My boyfriend, he needed that kidney. And you were perfect. O positive, healthy, no family history issues." She stopped herself, realizing too late she had admitted everything. My voice came out low. "You married me to kill me." She reached out, almost pleading. "I never meant for you to know. If you'd just signed the papers, it would have been painless. You wouldn't have suffered." Terrence stared at her like she was something he'd scrape from a boot. "You planned to carve up my little brother and dump his body on a paperwork technicality." Huxley snarled, "This is absurd." The detective shoved him onto the floor, knee in his back. "You're done talking." Camille backed away until her shoulders hit the door. She shook her head over and over. "You ruined everything," she hissed at me. "You ruined it. I gave you 6 months of my life. 6 months. And for what? To end up back with a man who actually matters." "Oh," I said softly, "now I matter?" Her face twisted. "You were never supposed to live long enough to cause trouble." The detectives grabbed her arms. She kicked, spat, screamed, "I loved him. I loved my boyfriend. Not you. You were just a match. Just a donor. Just a black man who'd make a convenient tragedy?" I said. She went still. Her lips parted. And for the first time, she realized I'd heard everything. There was no crawling out. No acting. No manipulation. Just the truth burning between us. I stepped closer, watching her composure crumble like ash. "You underestimated me," I said quietly. "But the biggest mistake you made was thinking I didn't matter." Detectives hauled her away. Huxley too. The hallway filled with officers arriving from the front entrance. The entire hospital buzzing with shock. Marcus stood beside me, arms crossed, watching justice unfold. My brother placed a hand on my back. "It's over, man," he said gently. "You're safe." But I wasn't safe. Not yet. I was alive. Alive in a way I hadn't been since the day Camille said, "I do." And now all that was left was the truth settling in. I didn't just survive tonight. I ended the future they built on my body. And I was going to walk out of this hospital on my own 2 feet, while they were taken out in handcuffs. The hallway slowly emptied after Camille and Dr. Huxley were taken away. But the weight of everything that had happened clung to me like humidity on an Atlanta summer night. My legs finally gave out, and I sat on a bench across from operating room 6, the same room where they planned to end my life. Marcus sat beside me, breathing heavily as if he had been the one running for his life. Maybe, in a way, he had. He put his elbows on his knees and rubbed his face with both hands. "You good, son?" he asked softly. "I don't know," I admitted. "I feel empty." He nodded. "Makes sense. You found out your wife wanted to carve you up today. Anybody would feel hollow." A shaky laugh pushed out of me. Not because it was funny, but because of how unreal everything still felt. 6 months of marriage. 6 months of smiling faces, hand-holding, quiet dinners in Decatur, mornings making coffee for her before work. 6 months thinking I had found peace with someone who saw me, loved me, chose me. Turns out she only chose my blood type. My brother Terrence walked back over, carrying 2 small water bottles. He handed one to me. "You're staying at my place for a while," he said, not suggesting, declaring. "Don't argue." I nodded. I didn't have the strength to fight him. "What's happening with Camille?" Terrence exhaled, eyes narrowing. "She's not talking her way out of this. The recordings, the forged consent forms, the surgical schedule with your name on it, all of that is evidence. The FBI's going to take this case. Organ trafficking crosses state lines." Hearing it laid out like that made the reality hit harder. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a crime, a deadly one, and I had been one signature away from losing everything. "We'll get you in contact with a lawyer," one of the detectives added. "You'll be compensated. And her family? They're gonna learn the truth whether they want to or not." I stared at the scuffed floor tiles, my foot tapping uncontrollably. Compensated. As if money could patch the crater in my chest. When we finally stepped outside, the night air hit me full force. Humid, thick, heavy with the familiar scent of Georgia pine. Marcus stood next to me, arms folded. "You know," he said quietly, "most people wouldn't have believed me back there. They would have run straight into their own death." "You saved my life," I said. He shrugged, but his eyes softened. "Wish someone had saved my cousin when he got caught in an organ scheme years ago. Didn't want to see another brother go the same way." I placed a hand on his shoulder. "Thank you. For real. I owe you everything." "You don't owe me a thing," he said. "Just live your life. That's payment enough." In the days that followed, the story went viral on Atlanta news. Local stations from Buckhead to College Park were replaying the footage nonstop. Doctor arrested in organ trafficking plot. Wife and surgeon accused of attempted murder. Forged medical files used in organ scheme. Neighbors called. Coworkers reached out. People I hadn't spoken to in years sent messages. But the only person I felt ready to talk to was Marcus, who checked in every night. He reminded me that survival wasn't weakness. It was courage. I started therapy. Started rebuilding the pieces of my heart one session at a time. And slowly, I realized something. Camille didn't break me. She revealed me. She revealed strength I didn't know I had. Resilience I never asked for but earned. And a truth that would stay with me forever. Love without honesty isn't love. It's a weapon. And some people hold it like a knife. But I survived the blade. And that mattered more than anything they planned to take from me. If stories of betrayal and hidden truths keep you thinking long after they end, click the story showing on your screen now.